I'm going to agree to start building our military, and I would not be surprised if the US has something to say about it. But the first thing we're going to do this season is talk to the US ambassador to make sure that they don't get the wrong idea. Oh? Yeah, this isn't a bad thing either. Scheme to mechanize agriculture may only make things worse. We should be cautious about getting farmers dependent on volatile cash crops when they could be growing more food with our population. Nah, actually, I'm with the US on this. I just secured more loans, dude. So I guess the bank wants more money from the IMF, and you want more money from the IMF. Cool, that's fine. Oh, it's this one. So apparently we have been sending troops to Marxist rebels, and ha ha. Um, I don't normally have an NL foreign minister like this, and I feel like this is not a great continue to offer asylum to exiles. So sure, but I feel like you're not really understanding the situation pragmatically here. We're probably gonna deny them permission to reside in Chimerica. Again, I had a Christian Reform dude here before, and he had a brilliant response to this. And his response was direct them to Mexico because they can operate out of Mexico and still fund their wars, just not in our backyard. And that kind of even-handed, we don't want America breathing down our neck, but also we understand that you really do want to fund this revolution, so just do it somewhere else. It'll be okay. But since I don't have that option on the table here, we're gonna probably tell them that we're not Marxists. Yeah, this guy's unhappy, but that's okay. I can afford to piss off NL a little bit. Who I can't really afford to piss off more is popular stability. They may attempt a coup, but, I'm pretty sure I'm relatively popular. I have a support base. I've pulled through for the farmers a fair amount. Speaking of, I wonder if I can implement rationing yet. This is something I do want to address eventually. The nationalism, popular organizations, and democracy, but shortages of food. Here we go, ration cards. And you want to do the ration cards, some sort of rationing system. And you want to abolish everything because we can't afford it, which is, kind of a reasonable thing, but time to go a little bit more Marxist. All right, what do you want? All of those are being handled adequately as far as I'm concerned, so I'm not going to talk to you. Corruption, always a good thing to address. Education and healthcare, that's important. I really probably should get on that. Control of marketing of exports and international relations. Interesting. We're gonna do corruption because I really like stamping out corruption as soon as it flares up, and we can probably score some points with popular stability. Yeah, let's appease popular stability for a second there. I think everybody's on board when you tackle corruption. She's got corruption again. You've got corruption now. Oh, the land reform. Oh, okay. What does PS want on this? No. Of course. No, not gonna go with your suggestion. Reduce opportunities for corruption. I think, yeah, most of our cabinet is in agreement. Yeah, we definitely need to tighten this, so let's do that. Who else, or what else do we have on the docket? Right-wing insurgency. So there's a few things that are important to do when it comes to tamping down right-wing insurgency because they can get vicious. And part of it is appeasing the United States is a good way to do this because, as we'll find out, the counter-revolutionaries are a little funded, let's say. And we want to do the best we can to not give the US reason to fund the counter-revolution. And that's the main reason why I shy away from socialism here, is for not direct reasons, but indirect reasons. So we just put in the rationing system, which should make this even out. As I just talk about not implementing socialism, and then I look into, oh yeah, the rationing cards, that's socialist policy. So what's nice here, though, is despite our falling production of food, which is kind of weird, honestly, our hunger rate is plummeting, which, great. Like, I guess we can just eat less food. Cool. Coffee's going up, so is the price for coffee. So is our earnings from coffee. Yeah, hey, awesome. Currency reserves, not my favorite. But our bilateral aid from elsewhere, I put in quotes, that's going up. Land distribution we haven't really seen. Oh, cooperatives happened even without my... Oh, wait, no, I did agree to that. Oops. This is an okay distribution. I'm actually totally cool with the wealthy losing some land because they don't return shit. So, what's on the docket? Right-wing insurgency. Marketing exports. I can do that, which is cool. Shortages of food. I don't think we need to address that. Or shortages of food. That's being handled pretty well. All of these are being handled pretty well. He's upset about them. I'm not. This might be a good time to ditch this guy because he's just going to get madder and madder. Healthcare and education. We got the money for that? We kind of have the money for that. But we're not going to implement it through them. Instead, we're going to go to the doctor who is working out in the sticks. Our healthcare system is pretty rough, to be fair. So, yeah, she hasn't had much funding. We're going to do this. Increase funding for healthcare. That is cool. Everybody's in agreement. Let's get our pants wet. Now, education. Do we want to do this? Probably. Do we want to do this now? Maybe. All right, increased funding? Yeah, we're all in agreement, even this guy who is Christian Reform. All right, what else? Industrialist is going to want us to stop guaranteeing workers the right to strike, which don't want to do that. Landless labor? No, let's take a look at what our ministers want in case that's changed. No, none of you. No, none of you either. Corruption popped up again. Improvements to infrastructure popped up again. International relations. Is there something wrong with our international relations? I feel like we're in good graces with the US and the international community at large. So every time I see corruption, we're going to pop this. Oh, well. Yay. The way officials from the other parties use their positions to put their cronies in government peril is nothing short of disgusting. Yeah, I don't like that his advice is basically just keep on doing what you've been doing. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. Good encounter. No emergencies at the start of this, which is really cool. I'm actually really surprised that we haven't gotten an emergency about the Reactos, who are the counter-revolutionaries that are attacking from across the border. Social spending. Oh, yes, our losses from food price subsidies are falling because of our ration system, but at the same time, our expenditures for healthcare have taken the place. But hey, our infrastructure investments are certainly going up. And hey, we put a dent in infant mortality. Cool. Maybe we won't lose so many kids. Cool. I am totally fine with this change in letting the cooperatives go. We might want to start managing the cooperatives a little better. And hey, look, food crops are going up. Production's going up. Coffee's going up. Cotton isn't falling. This is actually pretty dang swell. Hey, loans are going down, currency's going up, investment in our infrastructure. Things are good right now. I'm actually really damn happy with where we are. So, looks like bilateral aid from elsewhere evened out since we started taking US money. That US money, that's why. I bet that's why. But hey, like, our amount owed to other governments, international banks is going down. That's super hard to do. Like, we're making headway on our loans. This is probably the high point of any game I've ever run. So we're going to save here. And I'm going to call this save game, well, wait, no. Save GAM 2 because actually there's this whole thing about DOS files and only 8 characters. So, what can we do to not rock the boat too hard, but also prepare for the future? Gosh, I almost just want to stay the course. But we're staying the course right now, and this guy is mad at me, and I want him to... I want to not get him to coup me, but I also don't like any of his policies. All of these things that he wants to talk about are things that I decided against his wishes, and this is a way for me to reverse course on those. And I don't want to. I especially don't want to get rid of our rationing system. Our rationing system is keeping costs down and keeping food on the plates of everybody in the country. It's working. It's socialism, but oh well, the United States isn't too mad at us, and that's really the worst part about going socialist, is that you get people shooting you. What else do we got? We're investing in education and reform. You know what? We can start tackling nationalism, maybe? And maybe the right... I don't really want to touch the right-wing insurgency right now, but I could... Internal affairs, you also want to talk about it. Hey, corruption's back on the menu. It's going to be another one of those things where we just keep doing the same thing and everybody's happy. Improvements to infrastructure. That's something we can look into. External... Oh, we could establish a marketing board for exports, but our export stuff is doing okay. Looks like improvements to infrastructure is winning out. So, how can we build a modern economy with such a frustrating and unreliable communication system? Our telephone service is seriously out of date. Sometimes it takes hours to get a free line to make an international call, but just try calling the capital from anywhere in Yarumela province. That's even worse. So he just wants better infrastructure in general. Cool. Both export producers and the poor. So that's cool. Street holders and sandy gullies. Yeah, you're fair. You're gonna have a different story. Or no, same story, same everything. Export production efficiently. Cool. Berths available for modern container ships. So this will improve our economy. That's cool. Man. This actually could be a good win for PS. I could, like, actually improve our exports, which is going to keep our economy doing well. We're going to follow this track for a year. And, oh, Korea. The vicious attacks of the reactionary forces continue to worsen. Refugees fleeing Reacto raids have begun to swarm into the cities. People Reconciliation Army does everything in its power to protect our citizens, but our limited resources are spread very thin. The clinic itself has been repeatedly targeted of attacks. In one incident, 3 patients and a nurse were killed. Alright, so I was trying to avoid this. This is where stuff's going to start eating into our military budget. I can distribute arms to popular militias and draft a larger army. And I'm pretty sure formed armed village militias, war drones, and register all young men for a military draft. So they're 2 very subtle takes on roughly the same idea, and it's hard to know which subtle take I want to do. She's more militant. We're actually going to organize militias if we do it this way. And in this way, we're just kind of distributing arms to the militias that are already kind of governing themselves. They're basically the same. But you're going to piss off the United States less, so we're going to go with you. And it still appeases her too, so that's cool. Can we maybe get some military support from you? Nope, you're going to ask us to stop drafting people. So this is kind of the weird situation we're in, because the entire reason we're drafting people is because the US is funding the counter-revolutionaries, and then the US wants us to disarm. I mean, it's pretty clear what they want. They want us to disarm so that they can overthrow us. And then we've got, over here being like, we don't really have a choice. But the more we militarize, the more the US is going to be upset with us, and the more they're going to fund the conflict. So you would think we have a choice to de-escalate here, but the choice isn't really... Okay, we can kind of thread a needle, and we're going to do that by putting the proposal on the agenda and see what happens. Oh, we've got unions on our case. So put a pin in the militarization, and we're going to try to address that in a second here. Continue to support the rights of workers. So you're not really asking for much of a change in anything. Now that we have raised minimum wage, unions should be content for a while. Our first priority, after all, is to get production moving again. Radical demands for still more should be met with firmness and resolve. So we need to reevaluate the cooperatives that we have, I believe, because a lot of, we need to get syndicalism in here, honestly. Because if workers are being abused, they really ought to just own the means of production. I'm just saying, if they get to split the profits from their work, then they have nothing to really agitate for. So we're just going to go for this for now. He doesn't like it, but I mean, Christian Reform, I've been pretty cozy with them. We're going to try to talk about cooperatives, if we can do that. I think that might be under shortages of food under her. Control of marketing of exports. So that's interesting. We could start doing that, but that's going to piss off America. Corruption, yet again. Good thing to address, always. International relations. So, burning... A lot of people want to talk about the control and marketing of exports. We could do the first step of that, which is kind of like regulated capitalism. And yeah, that's probably a good thing to do. All right, we're gonna come to this thing that I put a pin into and see if we can't get a reasonable response from somebody. I want to say, you want us to demilitarize in preparation to the amount necessary to contain the rebels. Okay, that's actually pragmatic. Cool. Build up an army dominated by National Liberation Party will inevitably provoke retaliation. Any dangers the buildup might considerably lessen and is more likely to worsen. You have a point. And what do you... Living as we do in the shadow of an extremely powerful neighbor, your minister, we must be continually attentive to that neighbor's sensitivities. It is, of course, absurd that our nation of 4 million people could ever mount a threat to the United States. We must act with diplomatic caution, however, keeping in mind the perceptions they project about themselves. So that's probably the most pragmatic answer, in my opinion, because you're recognizing that we still have a need for the military. We're going to do this, and she's going to be upset. Confident that historical necessity will eventually prove the correctness of our line, and we will at present move forward in the spirit of compromise. Yeah, so here's where I have to talk about NL a little bit. And they have a tendency for authoritarian communism, and that authoritarianism really chafes me because it leads to some consequences when you don't have the foresight to understand what that authority does. So I think we're kind of veering away from the more essentially totalitarian aspects of national liberation, and I'm happy to stay away from that end. Campesino, do you have any... Are you upset about anything? I think you're probably the happiest clam in this entire bunch. Like, you're getting paid for your shit. You're probably the happiest right now. Teacher, doctor. So we have people keeping your clinics safe. Landless laborer. Who do we want to talk to? Shopkeeper, maybe? Banker? Industrialist? Usually the industrialist is just there as a foil to the trade union leader, and he's probably going to want us to back off on our support. Right, we were going to try to do something about that. Let's try to see if anybody has anything to say about cooperatives, which I might be able to trigger from the agricultural minister and shortages of food, because he may be upset about, or land reform. We're going to talk to corruption. That's always a good button topic. Let's talk about that. Ugh, again. Ugh, it's just the same. This isn't changing anything. All right. Talk to you again. What do you want to do? Oh, look, corruption is still on your list. So we are eventually going to sort of face the call to hold elections. So this nationalism thing is kind of important. They probably want us to start drafting a constitution, but if we start doing elections, a constitution just gets drafted automatically. So why did I pick this? I knew this was going to happen. Ugh. Yeah, they're all going to say the exact same things they did last time. And I think what I wanted to do was export production for now. Marketing with exports, land reform, right wing, corruption, infrastructure, control marketing, exports, and socialist gun. None of you are going to do the things that I want. Maybe if I talk to the coffee worker, that'll get things going. Let's take a look at his bio. A longtime employee of one of Farsante's coffee farms, acting as an overseer of migrant pickers at harvest time, spokesman for the Association of Coffee Workers, ATCAF, a union closely associated with the National Liberation Party, now a member of an elected spokesman for the coffee production cooperative, Cooperativa Luis Campins. Yeah, sure. That is not the topic I expected you to bring up. All right, cool. Dying for the privilege. Coffee trees are big, leafy bushes all crowded together. Plenty of good hiding places for killers. Can you imagine what it's like out there in the mountain, wondering if somebody with a gun is going to pop out and kill you in order to put pressure on your government? So, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you just want to do that shit. And you want to do that shit. We're trying to keep our development at a good clip here, but we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to piss off the US again, and I'm upset. Is it the coffee grower? You're a different person than I expected. Maybe, okay, so who is this person? Inherited 3 hectares of land. Okay, well, you're not who I expected, but we're going to talk to you. So this is something that the ministers have been kind of keeping in their pocket and I've been talking about. Voluntary, and then you want to... Free market principles. Yeah, of course. The tumultuous experience we have just endured have unfortunately given Chimerica the reputation of a dangerous place to invest. I recommend organizing an advertising campaign directed toward important financial and commercial centers to let the world know Chimerica is open for business. This is a non-solution. That's not our problem, dude. So this is actually not too bad of an idea. The thing is you can go super, like, heavy-handed on this and make the National Marketing Board the only purchaser. Like, they are a gate through which all goods flow. Which, yeah, it's all right. But it certainly cheeses the United States, but... All right. Harvest season of the second year. So we've got a new season, new board. Let's take a look at our reports. Let's see how we did after the last season. I want to look at the media. I haven't looked at the media for a while, so we might have some old media to address. Oh, our military expenses are slowly increasing. Yeah, kind of have to. Makes sense. There's nowhere we can actually see the death toll that we're facing, but I want to try to spend as little as possible in the military. Well, there's that whole escalation thing where the more I spend, the more I will have to spend. So, let's see. We are even on our losses from food price subsidies since the ration system has been in place. But again, they're getting eaten up by expenditures for healthcare and education, which is cool. Expenditures for infrastructure continue to climb, which is cool. It's an investment. I'm glad that we can put more money into the infrastructure, which helps other places. Infant mortality is not declining as fast as I want it to, so that's not great. Land distribution... Happy with how this is going. It's about even. We ran out of land to distribute, so they're not going to change a whole lot. That's pretty well set at this point. And yeah, maybe the other private producers are going to start taking land from the 5%, but hey, why not? Looks like food is even, but we're still dropping in our hunger. Awesome. I'm absolutely shocked that our cotton has not gone down. I haven't talked with the cotton producers at all, and I've enacted a lot of policies that really should have tweaked them off. Instead, coffee's just going up. So cool. Looks like cotton is starting to... what would be the opposite of break even, where you're going downward? They're recapitulating even. They're not breaking it. But hey, our coffee exports are better than they were under Forsante, so hey, that's cool. I'm sad that our loans are going back up, but hey, currency reserves are going up. Economically, we're doing pretty solid. U.S. is still funding us more than I would like, but so the U.S. has a weird policy right now because they're funding the Contras, the Reactos, but they're also giving us money. So they're propping up a government that they're trying to take down. I don't really understand their foreign policy. We might want to take a look at the digests. It's been a little bit, so we've got some backlog to work through, see what the opinions are. It was a wicked and wild wind, blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate. I'm just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever wanna be king?